and welcome to the Grace and Bacon YouTube channel. My name is Jessica, and in today's video we are going to be making a brand new pattern by Lacus Designs. The Alice wallet, Alice wristlet, Alice crossbody bag. There's 3 options on this pattern here that you could do. It comes in 2 sizes. This is the size small that I made as a tester. It's really cute. We've got a snap front. I used a magnetic snap here. You have a card pocket, and in the back, which I think is really cute and unique, you have another card pocket or a chapstick or something else you want to put near your keys, whatever you want to use there. And then you have a zipper pocket, a little zipper pocket. It's just, this pattern comes together super fast. It is a scrap buster. I made this one into the Alice wallet. And in this video, I'm going to be making the large size, and I'll make it into a wristlet. Like I said, it's so good. It's really cute. This seems like something that would be awesome to give out for, like, if you're going to give gift cards or cash. You could just put it in the little zipper pocket and also give this out for part of the gift. So cute. All right. So if you are ready to go ahead and start making the Alice wristlet, let's go ahead and get started. I forgot to mention that I will also have the link to Lacus Designs website down below in the description so you can check out their patterns. I really suggest checking out all of her patterns. They're all so good. They're all beginner friendly, and they can all be done on a domestic machine. I just love every single one of them that I have ever made, and just go check them out. You might really love them too. So let's go over the pieces for the large size wristlet Alice. First up, we have an exterior flap. You'll need 1 piece. I went ahead and placed my stabilizer here, and then also some extra stabilizer for the magnetic snaps just to give it some structure. And then also you'll notice that the interfacing that's on here has a rounded edge. I don't know if you can see that. It's rounded up here because when we sew this, we're going to sew along this edge to make the flap rounded. Okay. You'll need a pattern piece for that. And then we've got our lining flap. You'll need 1 piece for that. This is some webbing I'm going to be using for my wristlet strap. It is 1 inch by the length given in the pattern. You've got 2 pattern pieces for the main exterior. You have 2 main lining pieces for your lining, and I'm using cotton canvas. The blue is cotton canvas. I have them lined with woven interfacing, and then this floral print is a vinyl. It's very lightweight, so I'm going to go ahead and hopefully that turns out really cute. I've got my front pocket. You'll need 1 of those. I went ahead and made the holes for the snaps and also interfaced and put more stabilizer for the snaps just to give it some more structure. And I'll be doing a 1 D-ring tab just because I'm doing the wristlet. You could make it into a crossbody bag if you like. In that case, you'll need 2 D-ring tabs and you'll need 2 D-rings. And then I'm going to be having this big piece for both of my zipper ends. I just cut out 1 piece, and what I'll do is I'll fold it in half and place the zipper ends on both sides and sew them together. And then we've got my 1 inch swivel hook. I'm going to be using a number 5 zipper tape, so I've got a number 5 zipper pull. It is a flower. And then I've got the 1 inch D-ring, number 5 zipper tape cut to the length in the pattern. And I'll be using some rivets for my wristlet. And then I've got some rivets that I'll be using for the magnetic snaps. And I think that's it. I do need to grab my tag. So if you're going to be using a label or a tag, you'll want to make sure to grab one of those. And I think that'll be it besides all your other supplies, clips and tape and all that other good stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I got my label from the Heartwood and Hide. If it will focus here. I love the Heartwood and Hide. I highly recommend them. They have really cool tags that they make all the time. There we go. It finally went clear. And they also have a subscription now, which is really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with my wristlet strap, and I'm using 1-inch webbing by the length that's indicated in the pattern. You can make your own wristlet if you prefer, but I think it's a fun, easy way to use webbing. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my 1-inch swivel hook here, and I'm going to insert here so that the swivel is down at the bottom. And I'm going to just kind of fold the edge here over probably maybe a 1/2 inch or so. And I'm going to fold this over so that this is together like so. And I'm going to take the other end and I'm going to place it right in between this little fold here. I know it's kind of hard to see because it's dark, but actually I might make this a little bit longer, maybe 3/4 of an inch, and then fold it over. And then take this other edge and place it inside, like in between your fold and then the other side of the webbing. So then it looks like this. I don't know. I know it's hard to see. Sorry about that, but now we have this. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mark right in the center and place a rivet in the center. You could sew this down if you prefer, but I'm going to go ahead and add my rivet real quick. I'm going to do that off camera. All right, so there's my wristlet strap. That looks pretty good. I like the gold with the blue. It looks really pretty. All right, let's move on to the next step. So with a large size wallet, it's going to have 2 front credit card slots. So in the small version, there's only 1 credit card slot right here, and there's only 1 magnetic snap. You could use fashion snaps or plastic snaps if you prefer as well. But in this one, I will be using the magnetic snaps, and you'll need to do 2 of them for this one. So that's what we're working on next. It will be, you'll need your front pocket, just the 1 piece. And you'll need to grab your template, which shows you where to place your holes. And I did go ahead and just add extra stabilizer for the magnetic snaps just to give it just some structure so that there's no wear and tear on this fabric here. So you'll want to go ahead and grab your front pocket piece, and then you'll want to go ahead and install the, I think it is the male end of the snap. I don't really think it matters. Does it matter? I don't know, but you'll want to follow along. I think it's the female part, yeah. So you'll do the female part of the snap on the front of the pocket, and you'll want to have it on the right side. If you're using the ones with the prongs that have the washers, there are steps in the pattern to follow. So make sure you follow up that, but I'll be using the ones with the rivets, so I'll be using my rivet press, and I'll be doing that off camera. So let's go ahead and install our female magnetic snaps on the front pocket. All right, so we've got the front pocket with the female magnetic snaps installed here. So the female end should be right side up on the right side of your fabric, and then this is the back of mine. So I have the rivets on the back, okay? So now we're going to take our lining pocket, and we're going to place this right sides together by folding it in half, okay? We're going to clip around all of the edges, and what we're going to do is we're going to sew these edges together, okay? The raw edges that you're putting together, place them together, and we're going to sew them together at the seam allowance that's given in the pattern. And then what we're going to do after that is we're going to turn this right side out through our sides. So all we're doing is sewing it together at the top raw edge. We're not sewing the sides, okay? This is what you should have right now, okay? That's the exterior. It's folded in half, long ways, right sides together. So now I'm gonna go to the machine, I'm gonna sew this top at the seam allowance given in the pattern. And remember, don't sew the edges, okay? So I've sewn the top together. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to carefully turn this to where it is the right side out. Okay, so I've got this now right side out, okay? It's very wrinkled, so I will need to iron this. I've got my top edge. I don't know if you can see that, but it is, I have had to mess around with the seam to get them lined up. And now what we're gonna do on that seam that we've stitched and lined up, we're gonna go ahead and top stitch right along this edge here, okay? Okay, so I've got the top edge top stitched now, okay? Again, I just need to iron this. I'm gonna wait for that, but now what we're gonna do is fold this in half. And my magnetic snaps just snapped into place. We need to draw a line right down the center, and I've got my fold here marking my center. So now this is gonna create our card slots for our cards in the front of our wallet. And what we're gonna do now is you wanna go ahead and grab the main panel. So grab one main panel exterior. I've gone ahead and marked all my centers on the top and the bottom. And you want to grab a ruler. And there is measurements in the pattern on where you're going to place your card slots. Okay, so make sure you check the pattern. That's going to be pretty. Look at that. Oh, yes. Okay. Again, check out the pattern for the measurements on where placement is for your card slots. And then you're going to clip the sides together, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we are going to sew this down at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and then sew down the bottom at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And once you get to that center, you're going to place your needle down and you're gonna pivot and come all the way up. And then you're gonna come back down and back over to the left and then up that left side, okay? We're gonna make those card slots. All right, so we've got our card slots here. Make sure that when you sew up the center that you kind of backstitch a couple of times because you'll be using this a lot and you'd wanna make sure this doesn't come apart right here, okay? So that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this to the side for now. The next step is our back panel. Okay, so I've got my exterior and I have my lining. I wanted to show you in case you are doing something with a directional fabric. So with the flap with directional print, you want to make sure that you have them set up like this. Okay, so you've got it one direction going the right way, and then you have the other one going the opposite direction. And you're gonna place them right sides together. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna sew those together here, okay? And then you're going to open them up, and then you're going to press the seam open, and then you're going to sew along each long edge on the opposite sides of the seam that you just made. And when that happens, you have your directional print correct. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here I had to do that because I'm using directional print, right? So it looks like this. They're kind of opposite, but when you put it down, it's the right direction. So make sure you do that if you are using a directional print. I just thought I would show you that. But on this one, I am not doing a directional print. So now we're going to be working on attaching the magnetic snaps to the flap. I will have my magnetic snaps be visible on the exterior of my flap just because I have the rivets on mine. You don't have to do that. You can follow along on the instructions, totally up to you. But since I have the magnetic snaps with their rivets, I'm going to place the holes on both of my pieces. So my lining piece and then my exterior piece. So you'll need your pattern piece for this. Sorry, mine got wet, but you'll need to line this up and make sure that you place the holes in the right place, and then go ahead and install your magnetic snaps according to the instructions in the pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and make my marks and install my male end magnetic snaps off of the camera, okay? Okay, since I am placing my magnetic snaps on through the exterior, I will go ahead and sew this together and then install my magnetic snaps. But if you're not doing it the way that I'm doing it, you'll want to go ahead and follow along in the pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our exterior flap and our interior flap, and we're going to place them right sides together. I'm going to clip the right side, the bottom side, and then my left side. Okay, so I forgot to mention, when you're doing the directional fabric and you're sewing the two together and then you sew them open like this is also the time that you would apply your stabilizer, because the stabilizer is what is going to give you that curved edge on your flap. Okay, so I don't know if you can see mine, but it is on here. And what I'm going to do is sew along the edge of my interfacing. Okay, down at the curve and everything, follow along. You don't want to go on your interfacing, but just follow along beside it. That way we can have our curved edge of the flap, and you want to make sure to leave that top open because we're going to be flipping this right side out. Okay, so your magnetic snaps, everything like that, if you have already done that, they should be out of the way. You shouldn't have to worry about that at all. So yeah, let's go ahead and sew our flap together, and they should be right sides together, so exterior should be out. And yeah, let's go ahead and sew our flap together. Okay, so we've got our flap sewn together right now, and what we need to do is trim our seam allowance to about half. So I've grabbed some pinking shears. If you don't have pinking shears, it's okay. You can just trim down the side with a normal pair of scissors. But then once you come down to the curve, you want to make sure that you snip in some little triangles. Okay, this will help this rounded curve lay very nicely and flat. Okay, all right, so this is what it should look like right now. Okay, I've got my edge all trimmed, the bottom flap is trimmed, and we've got this top edge open. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and bring this so that this is right sides out now. So carefully do that, don't rip any stitches. So what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of rolling my seams since I'm using a vinyl on the top. The vinyl is so pretty, I got it from Zipper Valley. I will place a link to Zipper Valley's website down below. Last time I checked, they were sold out of this vinyl. I was trying to get some more, but hopefully they will get some more in. That would be so nice. I love it. It's very nice to work with. You can sew this on a domestic machine. I have made something else with this on a domestic machine. All right. One thing I did forget to do is I wanted to put my label here, and I forgot to do that. I guess I could still do it because I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. Yeah. So now what we're going to do, I think, is we're going to top stitch this. Yeah. So yes, we're going to go ahead and top stitch all four sides, including this top edge here, which I think I might go ahead and still put my tag here, and it's fine if the stitches come on the other side. I don't think that's a big deal, but if you're doing that, you want to make sure that this is the front of your flap with the rounded edges, and then this is going to be the back of the flap to place here. I guess I should think about that. Anyways, let's go ahead and top stitch this. Again, you're going to top stitch at the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance on all 4 edges. Okay, so I went ahead and sewn all four edges, and I also placed my label on here on the flap. If you're doing what I just did, you want to make sure that you sew this on correctly, not upside down or anything. So you know you've got the rounded edges, which is the front, and then your back. So that looks pretty good. I love it already. And again, I've got my stitches back here. It's fine. I don't think it's a big deal. That's just the back of the little pocket anyways. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attach the flap to our main panel, okay? Make sure you mark your centers if you haven't done that already on the bottom. We've got our flap. Now what we need to do is grab our other main panel, the one that does not have the card slots in it. Okay, and we're going to place this not right sides, but you want your flap to be right side up, okay, and then you want your main panel to be right side up. And what we're going to do is we're going to match our center points down at the bottom and clip together. I have my bottoms clipped with my centers matched. However, I do need to go ahead and install my magnetic snaps on the flap, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick and then get that completed, okay? All right, so I have attached my magnetic snaps, okay, on the exterior of my flap. You can see right there, it looks pretty nice. So on the other side of my flap, you'll see the male end of the magnets, okay? So I still have everything attached on the bottom, and the bottom of the main panel is where those cutouts are, because this is going to be a boxed bottom. So make sure you have the right end of the panel up. If you haven't cut those out yet, you'll want to go ahead and cut those out. So this is what we should have right now. We've got our exterior flap right side up and the exterior main panel right side up, and they should be together like so, okay? So we've got it should be right side up with the interior of the flap, okay? All right, so now what we want to do is grab a ruler. You want to grab a marking tool, something that can come off easily, and I'm using vinyl, so I will use either a chalk pencil, or I think I have a vinyl marking tool over here. No, yes I do. So what we're going to do is mark 2 points on each side edge of the flap, okay? And you want to do it from the top edge of the panel up here. So it's going to be 1 inch on the flap, okay? So 1 inch down from the top edge of your main panel, 1 inch down on that flap. And I'm just going to make a little tick mark, okay? I'm going to do that on both sides. This is where we are going to start and begin, or start and end our stitches. So with the tick marks that we made here, you're going to sew starting on, I always start on the right side. So I'm going to start at this tick mark, put my needle down right on that tick mark at the seam allowance given, and I'm going to come all the way down and then back across, and then I'm going to go up, and I'm going to end at the tick mark, okay? So we're only stopping and starting at those tick marks, so don't go above. We're just creating a little pocket here, okay? All right, how stinking cute is that? So now you have this little pocket down on the inside here, which is so cool. I love that. It's really neat. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to do the zipper. So we'll need to grab our zipper ends and the zipper in our zipper pool. and not the D-ring tab. We don't need that just yet. What am I missing? I need my tabs, which I can't. There we go, our zipper ends here. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and install my zipper here. I don't really use gold hardware, but I figured the gold would look really pretty with this. So we've got, this isn't on, oh no, it's on there right, okay. So what I'm gonna do with this, basically I'm just gonna fold this in half, okay? And I'm gonna take the edge of my zipper and I'm going to place it in that fold. And I'm going to grab a couple of clips and I'm just going to make sure the raw edges of that vinyl is matching up. Now if you're using cotton or canvas, anything like that, that needs the raw edges to be, if you need the raw edges to be inside, then you'll want to make sure that you follow the pattern instructions. So this is what I have right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew along that bottom edge of that my vinyl. You can sew the top fold if you'd like to. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends on how I'm feeling that day. But let's go ahead and sew our zipper tabs on. So this is what I've got right now. I'm going to go ahead and grab my scissors and I'm going to trim, I'm going to trim off that vinyl, making sure that it lines up right against that long edge of your zipper. And I'm going to turn it around this way and just as straight as you can get it. There we go. You don't want to cut your zipper on accident because zippers do tend to fray a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my lighter and I'm just going to sew off those little tiny threads. And if you didn't do it, make sure that you do singe the ends of your zippers before you attach this. I think if you're using cotton, it's probably not that big a deal, but this is what we've got right now. That looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side. We don't need this yet. I am now going to grab this main panel that has your credit card, the credit card slots in here. And I'm going to go, I've got my zipper already, and I'm going to go ahead and grab one of my lining pieces. So we are grabbing our main lining piece. And again, you want to make sure that you have your centers marked. I don't have the center marked on my zipper, so I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. I'm not going to snip into my zipper just because I want to prevent it from fraying. So I'll just use a marking tool. So with your exterior front panel right side up, you're going to align the zipper. You're going to take the zipper and place it right side down. Okay, and match up your center marks up here. Clip that together along that top edge here. You can baste this down if you would like. I typically do baste down my zippers. It's totally up to you on what you want to do. So I will go ahead and baste this down. And I'm only going to baste it down from zipper end to zipper end. Okay, so we've got our zipper, right sides together, basted down. Make sure as you're sewing, you do move your zipper pull out of the way. You don't want to hit that. So next you're going to go ahead and sew the lining on. So we're going to go ahead and place this right side down. These pieces should match up from edge to edge, but if you prefer, you can match up your midpoints. Clip the top together, and we're going to sew this down at the seam allowance given in the pattern. And again, make sure you move that zipper pull out of the way. I've never hit the zipper before and I don't really want to, I'm scared. So let me just go ahead and slide this down a little bit. And you don't want to leave the zipper pull where it is, because then you're going to have a wavy or a bumpy space there. It's going to look a little wonky. So, all right, let's go ahead and sew this down. So these should be right sides together and your zipper should be sandwiched in between. Okay, so this is sewn right sides together now. So what we're going to do is go ahead and we are going to bring this apart, your lining and your exterior apart, and we're going to top stitch the top edge of the exterior panel below the zipper. We're going to be stitching through the exterior from above the seam. So I'm going to have my seam behind this front exterior panel. I will not be sewing through my lining piece here, okay? So top stitching at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance right along that top edge on the exterior. That is so cute. Look at that. I'm just kind of folding the seam right here with with my lining piece here. I love canvas, it's so nice. Okay, so what do we have next? We are going to, I think, install our other main lining piece, and then also the part with the flap. Okay, this could be a little challenging, but what we need to do is pull this back. So if you're using vinyl like me, this could be kind of thick. So what I'm doing is I'm folding down my flap. Just be careful because you have stitches here. So what you're going to do is now you want to place that other exterior panel with your flap, and you want them to be right sides together. This could be a little challenging, but just take your time. It works out. I'm just clipping those top edges together, and I will baste this down. And you don't have to baste down if you don't want to. It's totally up to you. Get this basted down, and I will just kind of be holding the flap up out of the way. You don't want to accidentally sew that, so just be careful when you're sewing the zipper together with that exterior, and then after that we'll attach our other lining piece. Okay, so this is what we've got right now. Okay, so if you open this up, you've got your zipper and everything right here. I'm going to fold this back. I'm going to have this to where the lining is right side up right now, so you should be looking at the back of your zipper. I'm going to take my lining and place this right side down. I'm going to match up my seams here, or not the seams, but the center points. Everything should match up though. Clip the top edge, and then we're going to sew that down at the seam allowance given in the pattern. And again, make sure you've got that zipper pull out of the way. All right, so let's go ahead and sew that down very carefully. Again, make sure that flap and everything is out of the way. Okay, so that is sewn together now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open this up, and you're going to place the lining on the opposite side. I know there's a lot going on here, but I'm going to have that seam that we just sewn, and I'm going to place it underneath that exterior panel that we just put together. Okay, so the lining piece, everything should be on the other side. So the only thing we're sewing over is that seam, the zipper, okay, of the other exterior, right along that zipper. So 1/8 of an inch seam allowance right there. Okay, make sure that flap's out of the way, and your zipper. All right, so here we are when you've got your lining pieces together. That looks so good. Oh my gosh, I have to just see, just real quick. Eek. Oh my goodness, how cute. Okay, all that's left is sewing everything together. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, well, undo that. And what you're going to do is place your exterior very carefully together. You're going to have some bulging here because of the flap. And what we're going to do is we're going to clip our edges together on our exterior. And when you get to the zipper, you want to have that zipper go to the inside, okay, of the lining piece. So fold, when you get to the seam, you'll clip this together, but that zipper should be on the inside of your lining, okay? You don't want it to go in the opposite direction. You want it to go in your lining. So you'll clip your seams together here. Match them up as best as you can. Clip that together. And I've got, I hope you can see that, but when I pull my lining pieces together, like a big, everything's on the other side. You can see that the zipper is on facing the inside of our lining, okay? So you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to match up our exterior, match up that seam, and push that zipper towards the inside of the lining and clip your seam together, okay? So go ahead and clip all your edges together, and then when you get to the bottom of your lining, you're going to leave a gap open. I will be leaving probably about as big as I can get it because this is vinyl, so I need as much space as I can to pull this through because we'll be pulling this through and birthing the bag through our lining on the bottom, okay? So clip all around and leave an opening on your bottom lining piece, okay? Make sure you just kind of tuck this little guy out of the way. It's okay if you smash it. We can fix it and iron it and blow it out with a hairdryer and get all the wrinkles out. It's not a big deal, so don't worry about all that, okay? All right, let's get to clipping. As I started clipping all of this together, I realized that I never did my D-ring for the wristlet. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. I put double-sided tape on each side of the long raw edges on the wrong side. I'm just gonna remove the paper real quick and just take that raw edge and fold it to the center where that center line is, right down the middle. Do the same thing on the other side. Just like this. I'm going to go ahead and sew down each long edge at an 1/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, so I've got the D-ring tab ready to go. The side with the raw edges folded to the center, that is going to be your wrong side, so you want to have the bar on that wrong side. And we're going to fold it together. And then we're going to have the ends together. So I'm going to clip this really quick. You could baste it down if you wanted, but this does need to go on our exterior. So let's go ahead and figure that out. I took the clips out of this and I'm just going to go ahead and place it on that exterior where the card slots are, and I'm going to put it on my left side. There is a measurement if you'd like to use it. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this and clip it down. I'm going to go ahead and baste it. You want to make sure that the D-ring is on the inside. It's not going to be on the outside. You want the D-ring inside, facing the inside of your credit card slots, okay? I would probably have this out a little bit. So go ahead and baste that down. Before you baste it, make sure that everything's out of the way. You don't want to include your lining in that. Okay, so now that the D-ring is attached right here, we are going to go ahead and go back to clipping everything together. All right, let's get to clipping. One more thing while you're clipping, make sure your zipper is at least halfway open. That way you'll be able to open it easily. All right, everything is clipped together. It is now time to sew this together, and then we're going to pull it right side out and close up our lining, and we're all done. So you're, according to the seam allowance in the pattern, I'm going to start at the bottom. I have double clips here to let me know that we need to leave this open so we can pull it through. So I will make sure to back stitch a couple of times, and then I'll go up, and what I'm going to do is I'll start at the seam allowance given in the pattern, but I'm going to decrease it as I go up to meet the center. You do not want to sew over your zipper tabs, okay? And then I will have that same seam allowance going into the exterior part and then coming all around. So when I come back over here, you just make sure you don't hit the D-ring or your zipper, or make sure you do not go over your zipper tabs, okay? So let's go ahead and close this up. Okay, so we've got this sewn together, right? And we've got our opening down here in the lining. Now what we need to do, which I completely forgot, is we need to box the corners. I am going to reach in and do the exterior first, and I know it's a little weird feeling because you've got the flap in there, but don't worry about it. Just try to open this up in the center the best you can. The wider that you can open this up, the better your box corner is going to be. So you just want to match up those seams up here the best you can. And you can decide whether you want to open up your seams or if you want to have them nesting together in opposite directions, which I think it is kind of thick here since I have vinyl. So I might need to open this up. Let me see. Let me just try to open this up a little bit. Okay, so I think I'm going to end up nesting these. Yeah, I will nest them. I feel like something is a little off here. Let me see. Let me move this flap. Oh, there we go. I moved the flap in a different, on the other side. That is much, much better. So just play around with it. I've got it looking pretty good right there. So I'm going to go ahead and clip that together. And I like to clip the sides over here. It's very thick for me, so I may not be able to put a clip over here because I can feel the flap on that side. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that alone since I can't really put a clip over there. It's going to break. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side now. And I'm just opening this up. And you want to make sure to have your seams go in the same direction on this side as you do on the opposite side. Well, that worked out pretty good. There we go. Okay, again, this is pretty thick with the vinyl. So I'm going to clip there, and I'll be able to clip on one side, but I won't be able to clip on the other side. That's fine. Now you want to do your lining. This should be a lot easier to do. Just open it up. There we go. That worked out really well. So clip that together, and I'm going to clip the sides. And now we'll do the other corner. And make sure you do the exact same direction that you did on the other side. Otherwise it might be a little wonky. Oh yeah, the lining is so much easier than the vinyl. So now what we're going to do is we're going to sew our box corners right across the straight edge here at the seam allowance given in the pattern, and you'll do that for all 4 of your box corners. All right, so we've got the box corners sewn all together. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this. We're going to birth it and turn it right side out So be really careful. I am going to reach for the flap first and then start by pulling the bottom of the exterior through that lining. I love that. I love the pocket back here. Oh, that turned out really, really good. I love that. Now we just need to close up our lining. If you're okay with how it looks right now, if you don't need to go back and fix anything, which I think I need to go back and fix a couple of things. I've got stitches poking out right here. I'm so bummed about that. But all in all, it looks great. So I will probably have to turn this back. I need to turn this back through to fix the stitches that I have pulling out. And then we'll just close up the lining and then we will be all done. So I'll just do that off camera. I'll be right back. Okay, so everything looks better. I've fixed everything. Now what we're doing is I've pulled out the lining and I'm just going to close this up. So I'm just going to give it a little tug, just like this, and it just kind of goes right in, right into place. So I'm going to go ahead and clip it. And then I'm going to sew this closed at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then we're going to be all done. I've sewn the lining closed. Let's go ahead and tuck this back in. I love this. Every pattern I've ever done for Lacus Designs has always been so good. I love everything I make from Lacus Design. It's just, oh, that's so cute. Oh my goodness, you guys. Check out Lacus Design. And maybe you will fall in love with her patterns too. All right, last thing we need to do is just take our wristlet strap and hook it in. Oh my goodness. What do you think about that? How cute. I love it. It turned out great. I love the card slots over here and this big pocket. That's got to be like my favorite. I wonder if my phone fits in that. Let's have a look-see. No, I have a really big, I've got the 14 Pro Max. It's very big. So that does not fit in there. Maybe it'll fit in the zipper. Let's have a look-see. Well, yes, cool. It fits in the zipper and it closes just fine. Yes. Well, there we go. Perfect. You guys. All right. If you make this, I would love to see your version of this. If you wouldn't mind, I would love it if you would tag me on Instagram. I would love to share your photos on my story. And you guys, if you are still here watching me, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching with me and hanging out with me. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would greatly appreciate it. It really helps me out. And also give it a like. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.